Hello everyone and welcome to your feedback lesson today on your assessment. Before we get into the lesson, can you please make sure that you have your assessment from Friday the 22nd of January? If you can't find your assessment, just email me and I will send you a copy of your assessment that you submitted to me. Pause the video and make sure that you have your assessment in front of you now, please. Okay, if you're back, that means that you are ready to write our title, date, and our learning objective. Pause the video and copy those three things down now, please. Okay, now you're ready to complete our do now. Please make sure that you are answering in full sentences. If you aren't answering your questions in full sentences, when you look back through your notes for revision, they aren't going to make sense. So please pause the video and answer these 5 questions now in full sentences, please. Okay, so let's start our feedback. We always start with the things that we did well, what went well. So one of the key things that went well was the structure. We've done a lot of work on the structure of our paragraphs and it's paying off because all of you are in very good habits of following the structure for each of your paragraphs. So what we're going to do for this what went well is we're going to go through our paragraphs and we're going to label each step of our paragraph in purple pen. Before you do it on your own, I'm going to show you how it should look. So this is a paragraph from one of you guys. I'm not sure who it is, I apologise. Let's read it before we go through and label it. At the start of the play, Shakespeare presents ideas about power as hard to get. When Ariel desperately says, "What shall I do?" say what shall I do? This suggests that Ariel is desperate, as he wants to be free, but also loyal, since he will do anything for Prospero, and determined, as he's focusing on freedom and really wants it. The pronoun what suggests that Ariel is determined, since he wants to know what to do to be free. Okay, so I am imagining that I am the student now, so I'm going to grab my purple pen and I'm going to look at the video, and the first step is my point, and I can see that I've written my point here. At the start of the play, Shakespeare presents ideas about power as hard to get. I'm going to label that and write point, and I'm just going to cross it off so I know. Next up is my quote, and I can see I've done that next. When Ariel desperately says, "What shall I do?" say what shall I do? I'm just going to jot up here. I'm going to write quote. And I'm going to cross that off. The next step in the checklist is the 3-idea sentence, and this person's written an excellent 3-idea sentence. This suggests that Ariel is desperate as he wants to be free, but also loyal since he will do anything for Prospero, and determined as he's focusing on freedom and really wants it. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to write 3-idea. Oh, not sure why the E just vanished then. That's strange. And I'm going to cross that out. And then the next step is the word analysis. So the person here has written the pronoun what suggests that Ariel is determined since he wants to know what to do to be free. And I'm just going to write that here. Word analysis. And then my next step is my tone analysis. And I've actually forgotten to do the tone analysis, which is fine. We're going to talk about what we are going to do if you are missing steps in your paragraph in a second. But what I would like you to do now is pause the video and in the way that I've just shown you, go through each of your paragraphs, labeling in purple pen your point, your embedded quote, your 3-idea sentence, your word, your tone, and what Shakespeare is suggesting. Pause the video and do that now, please. Okay, if you're back, that means your paragraph should be labelled kind of like how it looks on the screen. Now, what do we do if we are missing a step? Anything that you have missed in your paragraph needs to be written in purple pen at the end of your paragraph in capital letters. For example, missing what Shakespeare is suggesting and word analysis. So, this person is missing tone and what Shakespeare is suggesting. So at the end of the paragraph here in Purple Pen, I'm going to write in capital letters, missing tone and what Shakespeare, I'm going to run out of room, that's all right, suggests. So I've now got on the screen what I have done with the labels and what I have missed. So you need to pause the video now and in capital letters and in Purple Pen, add anything that you are missing at the end of your paragraph. Pause the video and do that now, please. Okay, if you're back, that means you should have some lovely Purple Pen notes on your assessment, which I'm very excited to look at. You know I'm a huge fan of Purple Pen. All right, let's look at some other what went wells. We also used some lovely sophisticated adjectives to describe power. We avoided using words such as bad or sad or hurtful, which is excellent. And there was also some really strong attempts to analyse tone. This was particularly impressive considering that I only taught you how to analyse tone a couple of weeks ago through a video, and it shows me that you really engaged with that lesson and applied it to your own work. What you're going to do now is we're going to go through each of our paragraphs and highlight where we've used any sophisticated adjectives in our point to describe power, and also where we've analysed tone. So I'm going to show you how to do it based on this paragraph here, but let's read it before we do that. At the start of Act 1, Scene 2, Shakespeare presents power as manipulative. When Ariel was discussing his freedom with Prospero, Prospero states with confidence, "Do so, and after 2 days I will discharge thee." This not only implies that power is manipulative, but is dangerous and extremely violent. The verb discharged establishes that you have to do horrible things to be set free, but Prospero was to make sure Ariel did what he was told. Shakespeare may be suggesting that power shouldn't be given to horrible people. Prospero said the quotation in a confident tone because he already knew Ariel would do it to be set free. Okay, so I'm going to grab my highlighters now, if I was this person. And my first thing is any sophisticated adjectives. So let's look at my point. At the start of the play, start of Act 1, Scene 2, Shakespeare presents power as manipulative. I'm going to highlight manipulative because that's a sophisticated adjective. Next, I need to highlight where I've analysed tone. And this person hasn't done it in the right order, but that's okay because they added it on the end here. Prospero said the quotation in a confident tone because he already knew Ariel would do it to be set free. So you guys now need to pause the video and highlight any sophisticated adjectives in your point and your tone analysis in each of your paragraphs. Pause and do that now, please. Okay, if you're back, that means you have added your highlights to your Purple Pen labels. And now we can move on to our EBIs, the even better ifs, the things that we can improve. And our EBI for today is to ensure our word and tone analysis links back to our 3-idea sentence. Some of you are probably looking at the screen and thinking, "Madam, we've done this before. We do this all the time." Yes, you're right, we have done this before, but we're still not doing it completely accurately 100% of the time. So we're going to keep practicing linking our word and tone to our 3 ideas until we do it right. And I'm going to show you a little process that might help you to do that. So this is my quote. I've looked at the question about power, I've looked at the extract, and I've decided I want to use this quote from Prospero, who says to Ariel, "I will peg thee in his knotty entrails," which is showing that he's going to punish Ariel by confining him in a tree for 12 winters if he continues to ask for his freedom. So now, step 1, identify my 3 ideas. So looking at this quote, what ideas does it give me about Prospero and power? My first idea is that it shows that Prospero lacks kindness. My second idea is that Prospero has a capacity for violence. He can be violent and he is violent. And my final idea is that Prospero is extremely powerful. He's not just powerful, he's extremely powerful. So I've identified my 3 ideas. Next, I want to identify the keyword and the tone that I'm going to analyse. So looking at the quote, I'm going to grab my highlighter and I'm going to use the word peg. It's quite a violent verb, and you know, when you peg something, it's almost like you don't want it to escape or you don't want it to move. And then my tone, I'm actually going to say that it's quite a vicious thing to say to someone, especially to a spirit that has been your kind of only support for many, many years now. And now the important step. I need to link the word and the tone to an idea. So I'm going to link the word peg and the tone to these ideas. I'm going to say that the word peg shows his capacity for violence, and I'm going to say that the vicious tone shows that he lacks kindness. This is how I will write my paragraph. So let's see how that looks in action. So this is the beginning of my paragraph. I've written my point and I've written my quote. So let's read it. At the beginning of Act 1, Scene 2, Shakespeare presents power as a threatening force. When Ariel asks for his freedom, Prospero viciously declares that he will peg Ariel in his knotty entrails. Just a note at this point that I have used the tone word that I'm going to analyse later in my embedded quote. Very important. So now I'm going to use this kind of little mind map that I've created for this quote to finish off my paragraph. I'm going to end the slideshow now so that I can type directly onto the screen for you. Okay, so I've got my point and I've got my quote. And now I need to write the next step in my paragraph, which is the 3 idea. And I'm going to use the red pieces of text in my little mind map to do that. So I am going to write, this not only shows how, it doesn't really matter what order you write them in, Prospero is extremely powerful, but further highlights Prospero's capacity for violence and exposes his lack of kindness. So each of those red ideas around my little mind map are now in a 3 idea sentence. Next, I'm going to analyse my word. And earlier we identified that the word I'm going to analyse is peg, and I'm going to link that to the idea that he has a capacity for violence. So I'm going to start off with the verb peg, suggests, and now I'm going to link it to my idea, suggests Prospero's capacity for violence. And I don't just stop there, I then explain a little bit further. I think that the verb peg suggests that Prospero is a violent person because he is willing to harm his most loyal and brave spirit to maintain his power. Okay, that's my word analysis done. Now I need to analyse my tone. So earlier on we decided that there is a vicious tone and that he is that shows that he lacks kindness. So I'm going to write Prospero would have said this in a vicious tone. And then I'm going to link it to my idea because he lacks kindness for anyone who even considers kind of like betraying or even like abandoning him. Maybe he just doesn't want Ariel to abandon him. That's my tone analysis. And then, not that this is our focus, but we always need to end on what Shakespeare's message is. So I'm going to write, therefore, Shakespeare might be suggesting that power can be misused to threaten and control others. Okay, so let's just go back into full screen mode. So, as you can see, let's get just the highlighter to make this really clear. I've got my lack of kindness and my vicious tone. I've used lack of kindness in my 3 idea, and then I've again used that later to analyse tone. We then have extreme power, and we haven't linked anything to that, but that's okay because we did include that as an idea. And then we use capacity for violence to link to PEG. I've included that in my 3 idea sentence, and then I've used that to analyse a keyword straight after. Okay. So now I want you to do the same steps for these quotations. So, I ratify this, my rich gift, is from Prospero speaking to Ferdinand in 4.1 when he almost kind of passes Miranda to Prospero as a possession. And then we have Caliban speaking to Trinculo and Stefano about taking over from Prospero, and Caliban says that he wants to batter his skull or paunch him with a stake. So you need to do the exact same process that I just did. So you want to copy down this quote, then you want to write 3 ideas around it, then you want to identify the keyword and tone you'll analyse, and then link the word and tone to an idea. Then you want to repeat the same process, copy this quote down, identify 3 ideas around it, identify the keyword and tone you're going to analyse, and then link the word and tone to an idea in the exact same way as I just told you and showed you for my quote. Pause the video and complete these steps for this quote and this quote now, please. Okay, if you're back, that means that you have 2 mind maps for each of these quotes, and that's going to help you with the next step. So, I want you to choose a mind map to write a paragraph in purple pen about power, again, in the exact same way as I just showed you. You can either write your paragraph about this quote, about Prospero's power, or you can write your paragraph about this quote and how Caliban believes that he is powerful and how Caliban has been corrupted by power. You need to make sure you write a full paragraph following the normal structure. Point, quote, 3 idea sentence, word, tone, and what the author suggests. But your focus is on ensuring that your word and tone analysis link back to your 3 idea. Pause the video and write a paragraph in purple pen about power using one of your mind maps now, please. Okay, if you're back, that means you've written a purple pen paragraph based on one of these quotes, and that means that you are ready to submit your work. And I've just added this slide to the end of the PowerPoint, just as a reminder, because I know some of you forget to submit your work, but also to clarify how I'd like work to be submitted. So you need to make sure you're sending your work to my school email from your school email. And my email is listed on Show My Homework, but you should all have it by now. When you send the email, the subject of the email should look like this: English lesson, the number of the English lesson, and the date. So, for example, English lesson number 1, 25th of the 1st, 2021. If you're submitting a piece of handwritten work, you need to make sure you have Outlook open on your phone and find one of these icons on Outlook to attach an image of your work. If you're sending over a document from your computer, you need to open Outlook on your computer or your laptop and then find this paperclip icon and attach the document that has been saved. Make sure you submit your work. Once you've done that, you can move on to your next lesson, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Excellent work today, guys.